reason we got it. So then he goes, well, you can have another one. Why do I want 3 credit cards? The idea of credit is it's made so readily available. And so you think about this, we're talking about credit cards, how many credit cards you have, and last week the average credit card holder has 7 cards and owes an average of $8,000 in debt on credit cards. So what can be a blessing can also be a curse. Just because we gave you credit doesn't mean you're going to pay the bill. I had the experience, and someone was showing me the other day, their credit score took a dive the moment they applied for another credit card. I bought the car. Of course, we got the card for the church, no interest card. We got these things, but of course it's on my credit, and so it's no interest, so we pay it off monthly and it'll be paid for before they start charging interest. But they have a little scam going there that if you buy things with no credit or no interest, if you go past that, they begin charging you interest from the very beginning. Of course, they don't tell you that when you get the credit card. They just wait till you get the bill and says you owe X amount of dollars. And so we look at that. So the first danger of credit cards is they appeal to our greed and our impatience. What's the cliche for impatience? I want it, and I want it now. Okay, you can't wait. Pastor Mitchell always taught us from the early days. Now, I'm talking back in 1975. Pastor Mitchell taught us, you look at something, you got to put it on credit, pray about it for 3 days, let that new smell dissipate, and if you really need it, buy it. If you can pay for it. If you can't, don't buy it. Yeah, people say, well, the church has too much power. Words of wisdom keeps us out of debt forever. And so we need to remove the need. Do you need that $400 dress? Do you need that gun? Do you need, Larry and I went pig hunting last year. You know how I got my gun? I got a nice brand new 30-06. Scope, everything on it. You know how I got it? I borrowed it from my son, who has only shot it one time, and it lays in his bedroom under the bed in a case. He needed that gun. And he said, Dad, don't worry about bringing it back. You can keep it as long as you want. And so I inherited a 30-06. The Bible isn't against owning things, but it does warn us about covetous and greed. Men have a problem. They get a car, and so they're not happy with the car. Well, then why did you buy it? Instantly, you got to put new rims on it. You got to fix up the inside. You got to put things in it. You got to do this, do that. You buy a new pickup truck. You got to raise it up now because you're not cool if it's not raised up. You got to have the big rims, and you got to have the big mud tires on them that eat up your gas while you're going down the road. Men spend more time, it's a proven fact, men spend more time polishing their car than they do with their wives. Boy, I don't hear any amens to that. Luke 12 and 15, he said to them, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. Debbie and I first got married. You could put everything we owned in the back seat of a Volkswagen Beetle. Now you can't put it in a 40-foot truck trailer. I have to be careful here. My wife's talking about buying new sweatshirts, you know. Every time you go on vacation, you got to have a new sweatshirt. We have these plastic containers that are about, I don't know, about this long, and they're about this high. And guess what they're full of? Sweatshirts. But they don't have the name on them. But of course, we've got thousands of dollars in printing equipment that we could just print the name on the front of them and save a whole lot of money. And she's shaking her head, no.
T-shirts, not sweatshirts.
What is the true cost of what I charge? How many remember what the true cost is? What's the true cost of what you charge? Since it's saying you didn't buy that $400 dress, she has no idea. What's the true interest or true cost of what you charge? You know what? Well, let's just cancel Bible study and let's just sleep in. And what's the true cost?
Being a slave to the creditor.
What?
Being a slave to the creditor.
Well, that's true. You weren't here, so you were in Sunday school with the kids. So, what's the true cost? Come on, financial geniuses. Interest. You buy something, you buy it for $400 at 19% interest. I forget what credit cards are, we don't look at it anymore. Whatever the true interest rate is and how many months you're paying on it. We came out with the fact if you bought something that cost $3,000, I believe it was, paid minimum payments on it, it would only take you 19 years to pay it off. And you paid twice as much for it. And so the idea is they have the buy now, pay later. They even have it on groceries now. You can buy now and pay later. The problem is now, did you just clear your throat? The buy now, pay later plan, the problem is an hour later, what you just ate is gone. But you're paying on it. And depends on how long you take to pay it off, how much you're paying on that. You go down to buy a bed, you can go down and rent to own, you can do anything anymore. And the cost is astronomical of what you really pay for things. And so you have to think about that, because the second danger of credit cards is that they cause you to spend more. Why buy the cheaper version when I can buy the nice model? We're driving down the road, and Debbie, when our car had gotten smacked by that girl, the car was in the shop, and we drove this little Kia around, and Debbie goes, that little car was fun to drive, wasn't it? I said, yeah, you know, I saw that they have the Hyundai Tucsons you can buy now for 1.9% interest. And she goes, we don't need a new car. No more payments. But the idea is you get in at 1.9% for so long, and everything is on an annual percentage rate, APR, and they're adjusting that. We started out with, on our card from Costco, we started out at just about 1%, something like that on the credit card, and now it's at 19.5 or some odd percent. But the price keeps going up. Well, you know that trip to Zambia you're going to take when COVID hit? Well, it's still owed on that card that you borrowed at 1 point whatever percentage. Now it's 19.5%. So you're still paying on that. So you have to think about that and what you're going to spend. And you can't measure the damage that is left in people's lives. More divorces are over money than any other thing. They call it irreconcilable differences, but the difference is you're arguing over money. And so you think about that. The third danger of credit cards is that they make the item cost more. We talked about that. And then the fourth danger of credit cards is that they become a trap, because now your compounded interest and vendors who offer credit are not doing it for your benefit. Think about that. Everything is buy. I have to laugh at these guys I see going down the road with 20-inch rims on them. They have to have 20-inch rims on their little mini car because it looks cool. But then I look up underneath of this nice car. You know, being in construction, you're always looking at lines and everything else. And I look where they've taken pliers and stuff, and they flared out the bottom of the fenders so that the tires aren't hitting the fenders all the time and ripping through the tires. Those are the cheap guys. The other ones go to the store and they buy the flared fenders, and they take a saw and they cut their fenders. Their nice shiny car that they just bought, they had to fix it up so it's cool. They cut the exhaust off on it, and they put these loud little mini pipes on them, and they do all sorts of stuff and screaming down the road. You look at these guys and you look at them and say, why in the world would you ever do that? Debbie and I talk, and we may be old, okay, but we talk about our younger days and the foolish, stupid things that we did, and probably the old people were saying the same things about us. And so credit card companies advertise prepaid credit cards for children. We're going to teach you how to manage your money. We were sitting at dinner the other night with this 12-year-old boy making $20 an hour. And I got a thing the other day, somebody wanted me to work for $18 an hour. I'm 75 years old. You want me to work for $18 an hour, and you're willing to pay a 12-year-old kid $20 an hour? What's wrong with this picture? Do you think that a little kid making that much money per hour is learning to manage his money? He's spending it. He's buying all the fastest and latest toys that he can get with money. And when he gets a little bit older and has to really pay bills, just think, in a few years, he'd be moving out of mom and dad's house, going to work or living on his own, having to pay rent, electricity, and all of these things. If you're making that much money, son, you can, while you're in the house, you can help pay rent, you can help pay for the groceries, you can help pay for utilities. When it comes time to get a car, you can pay for your car, you can get insurance. That's what my parents did with us. And that's how they taught us to live. Because when we moved out of the house, we already knew how to manage our finances, and we could get out. I saw Mom look at you, $20 an hour, son, I'm sending you to work right now. The banking industry term for someone who pays all credit cards off in full each month is a deadbeat credit card holder. We're not making any money off of you. Why do they cancel your credit card if you're not using it? It doesn't cost them anything to keep those cards on the books. Why do they cancel it? What happens when they cancel it?
Credit takes a ding.
What?
Credit takes a ding.
Your credit card is dinged, your credit report is dinged, and so all of a sudden your credit takes a dive because you're not charging on that. So what happens, Larry McGee, when you go to buy something and you haven't been charging things?
No credit.
No credit. Every time they cancel one of our cards because we don't use them, they ding our credit score. They don't ding Debbie's credit score, and I'm really upset over that. They don't ding her credit score, they ding mine. She has perfect credit. She has one card in her name, and she pays the bill. And she has perfect credit. Mine's up over 800, but it took me once I bought the car and I bought the sound system for the church on the Synchrony Bank credit card, my credit score dropped 200 points. Why? Because now you're going to charge on the card that we had a Synchrony card, but they canceled it because we weren't buying on it. So we got another Synchrony card, same bank, same everything, and then they dinged us again because now we owed money. So you have to think about this. They do this for a reason. Proverbs 22:7, our pilot scripture, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. How many shop on Amazon? How did Jeff Bezos buy that $400 million yacht?
I gave him the money.
You gave him the money. Do you know that when I built my trailer, everybody knows that Amazon is cheaper. So when I built my trailer, I bought coating for the trailer. Okay, so I'm looking online. They want $100 a gallon for the coating that I used. I went to Home Depot, and it was $50 a gallon. Same brand, same everything. It was $50 a gallon cheaper. So who's making money? And so if you bought that $50 or $100 on Amazon credit, how much are you paying for it? So that's a thought that we have to think about, because many people don't sit around and investigate. Us poor people, we investigate, we look, we shop around. We don't just go, oh my goodness, they can't ship it overnight. I got a power supply on my computer. Power supply's been dead for years. But every time the power glitches in Tucson, my computers keep shutting off. So I wanted to buy batteries. Of course, I went to First Interstate over here, Batteries Plus, and they were $100 for the batteries for it. So I went online, and they were $93. So then I began to shop around, and I found them for $43. But it's going to take 2 weeks to get them. I can't wait 2 weeks. I got to have them now. Amazon can give them to me now, or I can drive down to First Interstate and get them. Needless to say, in 2 days they were here. But Amazon said it's going to take you 2 weeks. But the dealer shipped them FedEx, flew them from the East Coast to Tucson, and I had them in 2 days. So you have to think about that. You have to watch it. Impatience is a killer when it comes to buying things. We live in the now generation. We have to have everything so quickly that we have to microwave Pop-Tarts. We can't wait 10 seconds in the toaster. We have to microwave them. They do have microwavable Pop-Tarts because people are so impatient, they have to have everything now. If you can't wait 10 seconds, you don't deserve that Pop-Tart. Okay? Simple as that. 3 simple things to know about credit cards. The annual percentage rate. How much are they going to charge me? How much am I going to have to pay for that? So the fees, if they cost, I was telling you my daughter has a card. Government pays for it though, because Isaac's in the military. The American Express Platinum or whatever it is has a $300 a year fee on it just for the privilege of using that card. When you go up to the cashier and you hand her that card and she goes, oh, you're a platinum owner. Oh, how wonderful you are. Is there anything else I can sell you? Does it make a difference because you own that platinum card? Go to the bank. I drop my American Express card. Matter of fact, most places you don't even have to show them your card. You just tap it on the machine and you're done. So they don't even know what kind of card you have. So others, the airlines, $175 a year to use their credit card. What privilege does it give you? It allows you to get on the plane before other people. That's all it does. And you pay $175 for that privilege. So on the paperwork, I got paperwork out there on the desk. If anybody needs any more, I'll print them up. But there's like 5 pages in dealing with credit and how to get these people to stop sending you emails, plugging up your emails. I think Nato was telling me the other day how many he had, and I was talking right now on Yahoo, I have 4,571 emails that I haven't even read. 637 Gmail, because I just keep deleting them all the time. On Gmail, Yahoo, I rarely go on it, so I don't care. Plus all the ones that went to my spam box. So once in a while I go in and I delete them all out. But you can stop these people from sending you all this stuff, and it's on the papers out there. You can go 1-888-5-OPT-OUT, or you can send an email to optoutprescreen.com, and you can opt out of these so that nobody is sending you. Do you know how many phone calls a week I get trying to sell me solar? You know, if you put solar, you don't own your house. If you put solar on your house, you can get it. Really good deal. They promised me $5,000 government kickback on my taxes. So I bought solar, think I'm going to get $5,000 back. And guess what happened? You own your own business. You're not eligible to get the $5,000 back. And so now $5,000 at $138 a month, how long is it going to take me to pay back that money with the interest that is locked on it? They scam you. How much is your electric bill? You notice your electric bill went up. Who owns Tucson TEP?
The mayor.
No. Who owns TEP? Tucson Electric Power. Unisource Gas owns TEP. So they decided to oust Unisource and TEP. They took a vote and everybody said, let's get rid of TEP. Do you know how much it's going to cost to get rid of TEP? And you know who is taking over TEP? The city of Tucson. It's not going to anybody else. So you have to pay for all of this, and they're raising the rates again. You have to pay for them buying from Unisource. Even though the poles are already up, the lines are already in, everything is done, you have been paying for it for years. How many know actually that our electricity that we produce in the state of Arizona, we do not use? It's shipped out of state, and they pay less for their electric out of state than what is produced than what we pay here. Salt River Project ships a bunch of it to New Mexico and Texas. APS sends it to California and Nevada, and we pay the bill for it. We pay more than everybody else does for our electricity that is produced here. So think about this. I'm just going through this because we need to think about what we're doing. Everybody tells you it's going to be for your benefit because they want you to buy it. Why is our house insurance going up? We don't have weather in Arizona. We just have hot, Tucson, hot, and mildly hot. We don't really have a winter. We don't have tornadoes. We don't have hurricanes. But our insurance is going up. Why? Because we're paying for the weather that they have in all these other states. Janelle's insurance, Janelle pays probably $8,000 a year for her insurances on her house. They're in the Marine Corps in North Carolina, so it's on the East Coast in the oceans. They have hurricanes, so we're helping pay for their insurance. And their insurance, I read last week, insurance in 7 states is going up 25%. So you think about this. So let's look at the other credit card mistakes where we ended up. The danger of presumption. So we speak about affordable debt or manageable debt. What is affordable debt? You don't want to say anything, John? You look like you're really experienced in this. Leonard?
Something that won't gouge us out of our finances, something we can manage, carry on.
That's something that we can afford today.
Yeah.
But what about next week when the interest rate jumps? See, we talk about affordable debt. Affordable debt we look at is what we buy today we can afford. We don't look into the future. I built my house in Prescott back when you can build houses affordable. I spent $57,000 to build my wife's house, 2,100 square feet, beautiful house. I bought it. The bank gave me the money, and so, but, let me see, we got to put mortgage insurance on it. So we're taking 20% of that loan and we're putting it on mortgage insurance. Well, our payments started out at $800 a month. We could afford $800 a month. But then the 20% was on adjustable rate. So in those years, that was back in 96, something like that, 97. Economy fell, the interest rate climbed, the payment was over $1,200 a month. Drove us into a range. We went to Carlsbad, New Mexico to pastor there. We rented the house. We can't rent the house for $1,200 a month. That's not what rent is right now. And so a guy lived there for a while, and then he moved out. A guy called me from Texas. I really want your house. Can you hold on to that house for me? In a month, I'll be there. A month went by. He sends me, can you please hold the house for me? I really want it. So this went on for about 3 months, and I'm paying $1,200 a month on a house I'm making no money on. And eventually I sold the house because now I'm pressured to sell the house. I sold the house, I lost money. House today is worth over $500,000. I think, oh God, I should have never sold that house. But that's inflation. So what is manageable debt? Is what you can afford to make the payment on, and you think you can manage it. Well, let me see. I see in my bank account. See what happens when you sit on the front row. So I can manage this debt, no problem. So then the car breaks down. Something breaks. Let's go for the air conditioner in the house. Everybody knows in Tucson you got to have air conditioning. So the guy comes by and goes, it's going to cost you $8,000. Well, now, the last couple of years, a new air conditioner is going to cost you $12,000 to put air conditioning in your house. So what then? Your manageable debt became what? A burden. And so for all those that, if we're back online, for anybody that's online, your air conditioning guy is a scammer. I buy those units for about $3,000 and he charges you $8,000 for them. Do you know why he's driving a brand new Denali pickup truck or a, Many speak of affordable debt. So the debt seemed to, at a moment, be no problem because I can meet the payments right now. We don't look to the future of what's going to happen. So the problem with affordable debt is you get hit with unexpected expenses. As I said, the car breaks down, air conditioner breaks down, whatsoever, and you can't pay the bills anymore. And so now what happens is the problem got worse. What? Yep. Other than yep, what happens? What happened last time housing fell, the economy fell really bad? What happened? Foreclosure. You lose your home. You lose your car. You lose whatever. What are you looking at me like that for, Nal? So what happened? Many people, Christians, many of them lost their homes. Why? Because they couldn't afford to pay for them anymore because of what the economy fell. Everything happened. They went bankrupt. Bankruptcy does what? Drops your credit score and it stays there. They say for 7 years. But nonchalantly, when somebody does a deep dive into your credit, they go back 10, 15, 20 years. Depends on who the creditor is and how the economy is. And so James 4, You know what your name is, Asenia. Asenia, James 4:13 through 15.
Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that.
So he says, now listen, we're going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go into the city, and we're going to start a business, and we're going to carry on that business, and we're going to make money. How many have ever started a business? How many ever made money? It's a while before you make money. I started my maintenance business, doing my maintenance business for a while. But the thing is you have to depend on other people. And so we're doing it for a realtor. And the realtor is always screaming at us to drop our prices, lower our prices. Leonard worked with me. I worked for KinderCare. KinderCare was wanting me to drop my prices all the time. You're charging for labor. You know, you're charging $25 for this guy, and you're paying him $15 an hour. You need to drop your prices. Does anybody know what it costs in taxes and insurances and everything else to pay for people? When I was making $15 an hour in Prescott, Jeff Taro was a friend of mine. He still is. He goes to the church in Prescott. And it was costing $27 an hour to have me at $15 an hour. Because you're using a SAW, workers' compensation was 22%. And so you're talking about you're going to make money, so you're doing this business, and pretty soon you're buying materials, you're buying everything else. KinderCare, even K&B Homes wanted me to drive all the way to Marana on the other side, free of charge. It takes an hour to get there. Oh, we don't care. We don't want to pay you driving time. Hello, what do? So when you're giving you a job in Marana, and then you're giving you a job in Sarita, and then they're giving you a job over here on A Mountain, and then they're giving you a job in East Tucson, you're doing all this driving around for free. Who's going to pay for the car? Who's going to pay for all this and all that? So you have to be wise. You know, you have to think about this. The danger becomes when the other party of your house has to work. You've got a second income. What happens when you have a second income? You spend more money. You look at it and, okay, let me see what we're going to do. Okay. Leonard, you're going to work for me. Your money is going to pay the bills. Mina's money is going to be for extra. You know, we're going to have this. We're going to sock it away in a bank. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then all of a sudden, Mina says, Leonard, we need a new refrigerator. Well, Leonard, you know, our bed is sagging in the middle. You know, my back really hurts. We could use a new bed. Of course, she's not happy going to the mattresses anymore. She goes down to the big store and, you know, buys the big, nice, expensive mattress. Oh, Leonard, the couch, you know, we need a new couch. A couch is awful. Just throw a Dallas Cowboys blanket over it.
Amen.
You see what I'm talking about? Oh, let's go out to eat.
Oh, yeah. Yum, yum.
It's almost cheaper to go out and eat anymore than it is to eat at home. But we go out and eat more often. And so the danger becomes, because a second income is there, we begin to spend more money. We commit ourselves to this. But then what happens when something happens? God forbid, a tragedy would happen, and one of the people can't work in the home. What happens when you just get fed up and quit your job? Well, you can't quit now. You got to be miserable. My wife worked for this German lady in child care when we were pastoring in New Mexico, and she worked. And this lady was just mean as could be. The junkyard pit bull. She was just mean. But my wife couldn't quit. She'd come home every day crying, bawling her eyes out how mean this lady was. But she couldn't quit because we had to have the money. We needed the money. And so you think about that. The idea is to learn to live off of one income. I was going to use the illustration in offering, but I quit working. And God told me, you need to quit working. Okay? My knees went bad. I had a stroke. God said, you need to quit. And so I quit. Then financial hardships began to come in, and thinking about that. And God says, I'll take care of you. You have to trust me.
That's right. Yeah.
So what happens when things start getting hard? Foods went up. I couldn't believe it. We went to the store the other day at Costco. We bought coffee, butter, eggs. I guess I could do without the coffee. We bought butter, eggs, a half gallon of heavy cream, spaghetti sauce. There was like 7 items, nothing great. It was $75. And I'm looking at these. Did I say eggs? I'm looking at this, and I can see the bottom of the basket, and it's like, Debbie, that was $75. God says, I'll take care of you. And we live on the little income that we have coming in. We live basically off of our Social Security. The church pays our rent and utilities. We pay our gas. And God says, I told you I'd take care of you. So I trust God to take care of me. And God has. So think about that. If God says he'll take care of you, the blessing of God will richly reward you if you'll trust God. You don't have to buy everything on credit. Do you need the new car? The car, the insurance, the registration on the car. My car's 10 years old, my Murano. And how much is the license plates on it still?
Like 175, 200.
Yeah. My truck, 20 years old, $74 a year, whatever. And it doesn't cost much. But think about this. Do you need what you're spending money on? I saw a head shake there. That's either an agreement with me or yes, we need more. Christmas, birthdays, family events. We get tired of buying everybody Christmas presents. You know why? Because they don't buy us. Why should I give you anything when you give me nothing? But Pastor, that's a bad outlook. Is it really? I remember, as I told you, my parents were in debt every year. Every year they'd pay the loan company off just before Christmas to go back in debt again for Christmas. So the average American household will charge nearly $1,300 a year on the Christmas holidays. That's only buying for their own families anymore. 6 to 7 months after Christmas, they're still paying off the Christmas debts. Banker Mike Hendren says, I get reports of people paying their Christmas card debt back 3, 4, 5 years later. So reasons we get into trouble at Christmas time. Black Friday. Do you know Black Friday is starting in May now? The stores got their Christmas stuff out already. What was Black Friday? Black Friday was to line all these people up, get them in line so they would run in and buy things in this mad dash that they had no idea where they could get it somewhere cheaper. We get into trouble by guilt, neglect, and parenting. My poor children, they don't have the latest iPod, or they don't have they don't even make iPod anymore, do they? iPad. I have to have a new iPad because my iPod won't work, my phone, or I have to have a new phone because I have an iPod at the house. It's historical value now, and it still works. The battery still holds a charge. I've got so much music on that thing, I drove all the way across the United States and back and never repeated a song. Debbie went to fire up her mini iPad this morning. She can't remember the password to it because she hasn't used it in so long. Now she can't get into it. Every time she tries to do something, it locks her out. But we got to have this stuff. And our children feel neglected. Okay, any questions or comments? I'm done with that one. I'm done. Next week is stewardship. Questions? Go ahead.
Forgive me, I'm new here, but
Yeah,
you say you're 75?
yeah.
You're old enough to remember the expression, keeping up with the Joneses?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What you were talking about,
Yeah,
that's been going through my mind.
yeah. My next door neighbor bought a boat. So I got to have a boat. Only problem is it's 3 hours from the lake.
Has no water.
Yeah. And if you get in that lake, the lake has these little microbes that get into the impellers and the things in the boat. And so now you got to keep the boat out of the water for a minimum of a week so that these things will dry out. And all of our waters in Arizona are contaminated with these little microbes. I forget the name of them, but
They're mussels, aren't they? Like
they're like a little mussel, like a little clamshell, but they get inside. You can't walk in the lake or in the water without seeing these things all over the place. So I got to have the boat. I have a set of jet skis I'll sell you. I haven't been on them in 14 years. My son has them. They're 650s. They go, seats are uncomfortable. But I haven't even been on them for 14 years. Why do I still have them? I have no idea other than my son has them, and once in a while he hauls them to the lake. While I'm on him, he just had to have this new Can-Am. Then he had to buy a trailer to have it on, and then he had to have a boat to go to the lake with. He has more equipment now to go to the lake than he can even haul. He's got to have 2 or 3 trucks hauling his camping stuff to the lake. Anybody else? We're done. my pet peeve for the week.